of chapter number 15 are environment. Till now we have discussed what is called environment, what is called waste. In that we have discussed about biodegradable waste, non-biodegradable waste. After that we have discussed what is called ecosystem, types of ecosystem. In that we have discussed natural ecosystem and artificial ecosystem. In natural ecosystem also we have understood what is aquatic ecosystem and what is terrestrial ecosystem. That all things we have discussed. We have also discussed that components of ecosystem. There will be biotic components of ecosystem and abiotic components of ecosystem. In biotic components of ecosystem, we have understood about producers, consumers and decomposers. Today, we are going to understand about different trophic levels, food chain, food web, biological magnification and about the waste also. So let's start our journey from the understanding of trophic level. Trophic level. So, what is trophic level? As we all know, that the flow of energy will move from one stage to another. Let's try to understand it with one diagram. Okay, if we talk about a food chain, so as we know that from sun energy, producers means plants will gain their food. So that is our first trophic level. You can say that it's our first trophic level. In that we will have producers. Then we will have our primary consumers. After that we will have our secondary consumers, and then we will have tertiary consumers. As here you can see that the first trophic level is of producers. From that producers, our second trophic level it is consumers. Then our third trophic level, that's of secondary consumers, and our fourth trophic level it is of tertiary consumers. Now as you know that flow of energy is from producers to primary consumers, then to secondary consumers and then to tertiary consumers. Here in another word, if you can synchronize the concept, then you will use to know that the primary consumers means they will be our herbivores. In secondary consumers we will have the carnivorous animals. But which type of carnivorous animals? That the animals who depends on plants. Okay, so here if we talk about the trophic levels, right, so first, second, third and fourth, and as we have studied that this is our first order consumer, this is our second order consumer, and this is our third order consumer, right? So both of this here, the secondary consumers, they will depend on animals, but that animals will depend on plants. Okay, in this tertiary consumers, in this category there will be also carnivorous, means such animals they depends on another animals. That's why it was known as third order consumer, right? So we all are clear about first order consumer, second order consumer and third order consumer, right? So this way the energy is flowed from one stage to another stage in the food chain, so that is called trophic level. Hope you have understood here the concept of trophic level, which always move from producers to consumers, and at last this tertiary consumers they will also get decomposed. So after that we will have decomposers, right? So this way we can understand the concept of trophic level. Now let's have a discussion of food chain. Let's have a concept of food chain. See, basically the concept of food chain is based on who eats whom, right? It's basically a concept of who eats whom. As you have studied about this type of food chains, so our food chain will be of two types. terrestrial food chain and aquatic food chain. Now let's try to understand the terrestrial food chain. So as we all know that from sun, generally it's a main source of energy on this planet. So by that sun, plants, means the grass, will obtain its food with the help of photosynthesis process. This grass is eaten by insects. So see, what is eaten? Grass is eaten. By whom it is eaten? It is eaten by insects. So grass is eaten by insects. Insects are eaten by snake, and snake is eaten by hawks. Right? So this way it will give you the concept of food chain. Means it will give you the concept of who is eating whom in a linear manner. That is called our food chain. So this is our terrestrial food chain. That grass is eaten by insects, insects by snakes, and snakes by hawks. Similarly, in aquatic ecosystem also we will have that. Here we are having phytoplanktons. Now what is this phytoplanktons? It is similar to the grass. Means they are the autotrophs which lies in our aquatic ecosystem. They are eaten by zooplanktons. Now what is the zooplanktons? It's a very tiny organisms and they eat phytoplanktons. This zooplanktons, it is also the immature state of large animals, right? So when that large animals are at immature state and very less developed state, very small, tiny, so they are also called as zooplanktons. That zooplanktons are eaten by fish. Fish is eaten by shark. So this way, this whole food chain, means this trophic chain, it continues. Right? So this way, the concept of food chain is of who eats whom or who is eaten by whom. Right? As you can see here, that for terrestrial ecosystem and for aquatic ecosystem. Now yes, there will be question in your mind that sir, sometimes that one particular organism, it is eaten by many more. So how we can describe it in this type of food chain? Okay, for that we will have a concept of food web. We will discuss it about food web also. So by this food chain, what we can know? We can know the level of energy, how it is passing from one level to another level. That we are able to understand with the help of food chain. With the help of food chain, we are also able to understand that if there is any problem in the trophic level, so where that problem is and how to sort out that problems, that also we can understand. Like suppose if we think that sometimes the wild animals, right, in search of food, they enter into village, right, because they are not getting sufficient amount of food in the forest. That's why they visit to the village, right? So that all type of questions we can sort out with the help of the food chain if we know about it, right? So the food chain is very interesting topic, right? You can also make different food chains according to your observation and of your study. But as the one organism, it is not dependent on any one particular trophic level, right? One particular organism is not only eaten by a particular animal, so it can be eaten by much more. Right? So there will be a interrelations between different trophic levels, different animals, right? So for that we will have a concept of food web. It's nothing, it is similar to the food chain, but here it is described in linear form, and here the interconnections are also explained. So here you can see the picture of food web, and in that you can see that how they are interconnected with each other. Okay, so food chain and food web will give us the concept of who is eaten by whom or who eats whom. Okay, so terrestrial food chain, aquatic food chain and food web we have completed. Now the next concept is energy flow or flow of energy. As we know that in food web and food chain, what we have studied, that from producers to herbivorous to carnivorous, right, the trophic level is increased. Now we can understand the flow of energy in this way. Suppose if we take here as our first trophic level, that is our producers. In that we will have plants. These plants are eaten by herbivores. Again, these herbivores are taken as a food for carnivores, lower level of carnivores, and from that it will send to higher level of carnivores or top level of carnivores, right? So from sunlight, producers are preparing their food. Producers are eaten by herbivores. Herbivores are eaten by carnivores, and some of the carnivores, they are eaten by higher level of carnivores. Here we can see that the flow of energy is in this direction, from producers to herbivores, herbivores to carnivores, carnivores to higher level of carnivores. Now let's try to understand this concept. See, every trophic level, first of all, what is flow of energy? In every trophic level, the energy is accumulated to the another one, right? From the producers to herbivores, from herbivores to carnivores, from carnivores to high level of carnivores. So that accumulation of energy from one trophic level to another trophic level, that is called flow of energy or energy flow. Now, let's understand this, that from sun, right, only the 1% of solar energy it is utilized by producers. Only 1% of solar energy is utilized by producers. Now these producers, the energy which is utilized, that's only 1%. They will use such energy for their growth, for their development, and it will transfer only the 10% of the energy to the next trophic level, that is of our herbivores. This herbivores, this 10% whatever they get from producers, they will use that energy for their life process, for repairing their cells, right, for their development, and they will transfer again only 10% to the next trophic level, that's of carnivores. Carnivores also, the energy which they got from the previous trophic level, they will also use that energy for their growth, for their development, and they will transfer that only 10% of the energy to the higher level of carnivores. So this way, for each trophic level, only the 10% of energy is passed. So this is called 10% rule of energy. Let's try to understand it with one example. Suppose from the sun, producers are obtaining 1000 kilocalorie of energy. They will utilize 90% of energy for their life process, and they will just send only 10% of it, means they will send only 100 kilocalorie of energy to herbivores. Herbivores will also use the energy for the life process, and they will transfer only 10% of 100 kilocalorie, that is 10 kilocalorie, to the next trophic level of carnivores. And carnivores will also use it, and they will send only 10%, which is only 1 kilocalorie, to the higher carnivores. So this way, the flow of energy is only 10% accumulate to the next trophic level in our trophic chart. Here, what we can see, that the direction of this accumulation of energy, the direction of the flow of energy, it is always in one direction. It is from producers to herbivores, herbivores to carnivores, and carnivores to high level of carnivores, right? It cannot get reversed. So we can say that the flow of energy in trophic level is unidirectional, means it's always in one direction. Right, so this question can be also asked to you, that explain the sentence that the flow of energy in trophic levels is unidirectional. So how it is unidirectional? So the energy is taken from sun to producers, from producers to herbivorous to carnivorous, and carnivorous to higher level of carnivorous, but it cannot get reversed from higher level to carnivorous to herbivorous and herbivorous to producers. It is never done like that. That's why the flow of energy in trophic levels is unidirectional. Biological magnification. Now what is biological magnification? Biological magnification is a phenomenon in which the progressive increase of concentration of non-biodegradable toxicants are there with successive trophic levels. Now let's try to understand it how. Suppose we are using insecticides or pesticides, right, to get more crop production, right? As we add insecticides or pesticides, so it will be accepted by crops. Now with this also some non-biodegradable toxicants will be also present there. It will be absorbed by crops. Now these crops are used by herbivores, okay. So from one trophic level to another trophic level, here we can see. Now from crops to it, this non-biodegradable toxicants is transferred to herbivores. As it transferred from one trophic level to another trophic level, its concentration will get increased. Now from herbivores to it will be sent to carnivores. So again, it goes to another trophic level. So that is the successive trophic level. It passed to the another trophic level. At that time, the concentration of non-biodegradable toxicant, it will get increased, and from carnivores to it moves to higher carnivores, right? So in this higher carnivores also it will get increased. Now see, this is the phenomena in which you can say that as we move to the successive trophic level, so when we move in successive trophic level, the progressive increase on concentration of the non-biodegradable toxicants means from here that toxicants are added into crops. From this crop, as we move to the another successive trophic level, the concentration of non-biodegradable toxicant, it will get increased to herbivores. When it is moving from herbivores to carnivores, again the toxicity and the concentration of that non-biodegradable component, it will get increased. When it moves from carnivores to higher level of carnivores, then also the concentration of non-biodegradable toxicants, it will get increased. So this phenomena of increasing progressively the concentration of non-biodegradable toxicants when moving from one trophic level to another trophic level successively, that phenomena is called biological magnification. Here we can understand this biological magnification with this example, and that is the reason that why in wheat and in our grains there are some toxicants present. Okay, so this way, this is also the important concept of biological magnification. As you have seen that as we move to every next trophic levels, the concentration will get increased, and as it is non-biodegradable, so that will also the harmful, and the maximum this type of toxicants are seen in humans because we know that they comes at the top of the trophic levels, right? So this way the concept of biological magnification, here you can understand it that it's a magnification of concentration of non-biodegradable toxicant when we move from one trophic level to another trophic. Understand some activities, right, which is very harmful to our environment, which is done by us, right? So some human impacts on our environment. In that, first we will talk about ozone. As we all know that ozone, it is O3, means it's made up of 3 atoms of oxygen. Now how this ozone is formed? So as we all know that first we will talk about formation of ozone. That will be our formation of ozone. Now let's understand that how ozone is formed. So as we all know that oxygen which is present in our atmosphere, this oxygen, it will get split into free radicals by the ultraviolet rays. Now, this oxygen free radicals, when it reacts with the another oxygen of the atmosphere, it will give us O3, which is our ozone. Right? This way ozone is formed. Now, what is the importance of this ozone layer in our atmosphere? So, importance of ozone layer in our atmosphere. So, what is importance of ozone layer? First, where it is located? It is located at 20 to 30 kilometer above in stratosphere. It is located at 20 to 30 kilometer above in the stratosphere. This ozone, it protects us from harmful effects of UV rays, from ultraviolet rays, and as we are safe from harmful effects of ultraviolet rays, these ultraviolet rays are only responsible for skin cancers, also the defects of eyes like cataracts in cropials, etc. Right? So, ozone layer, it protects us from skin cancers, cataracts, different defects of eye, cropials, and other disease also. It protects us from different harmful effects of ultraviolet rays. So, this way ozone is formed in our atmosphere and it forms the ozone layer, and this is the importance of ozone layer. But as we all know that by some of the activities of humans, Earth, and here the ozone layer is, which protects us from ultraviolet rays, right? Due to our activities like CFCs, we are spreading CFCs, right? Now what is the CFC? CFC means chlorofluorocarbon. Due to the CFCs, due to the pollutants which is emitted out by automobiles, by refrigerator, by fridge, right? In that also the CFCs will be present. This CFC means chlorofluorocarbons. Now CFCs means the compound which contains chlorine, fluorine and carbon, they are called CFCs. This CFCs means chlorofluorocarbons, they break down the molecules of ozone and it creates the ozone hole, right? And this way many of breakdown of ozone at particular place we are seeing, and that is considered as the ozone hole, and this ozone hole is very harmful for us. Such type of ozone holes are seen in Antarctica, right? In 1980s it was seen, right? So this way the CFCs which is emitted by human activities, by refrigerator, by air conditions and by other activities, it's very harmful for us. Also the chlorine gas is very harmful for depletion of this ozone layer, right? So this question is also important. What is called depletion of ozone layer? So breakdown of ozone layer due to chlorofluorocarbons and other pollutants, that is called depletion of ozone layer. But CFCs are very most responsible for this type of depletion of ozone layer. In 1986, that there was ban on CFCs by UNEP. Right, there was ban on the production of such chemicals in which the CFCs were emitting. Right, it was banned. In exam also, it can be asked that what is full form of UNEP. So that will be United Nations Environmental Program. According to that, in 1986 there was ban on productions of CFC containing. Okay, now what we can do for it? So simple. If the refrigerator and the ACs, if it is too old, so we can replace it. Instead of CFCs, we can use freons, that is our HFC, that will be less pollutant in comparison to CFC. So all that we can do to save our ozone layer. Now one question will be arising in your mind, that why these CFCs are this much responsible. So understand, see, first of all, the CFCs are much more stable, right? So it will not react anywhere else in atmosphere. And the another property of CFC is it is lighter, so it will always move in upward direction. So what will happen, right? So suppose this is the ozone layer, it is stable, so it can reach to the ozone layer. First of all, this is the first thing, that it can reach to the ozone layer, and it is said that in CFCs the chlorine is present. That chlorine can break down almost millions of ozone atoms, right? So this way we can understand that it is million times dangerous in comparison to other pollutants, right? So one chlorine atom can break down millions of ozone atoms, right? Because it is stable and it can move in upward direction, so it can easily reach to the ozone layer. That's why it is very harmful for us. So we have to use the instruments in such a way, or we have to use such instruments which release less amount of CFC in atmosphere. Methods of waste disposal. Why this is necessary? So as we know that by waste, by garbage, disease can spread, and some are non-biodegradable waste, so that is also harmful for us. Garbage means the waste which is produced due to our household activities, that is considered as garbage. So a proper management to get rid from the harmful effect of this waste is necessary. Here are some of the methods of waste disposal. After that, first is recycling. We know what is recycling, like plastic, tin, containers, right? Different plastic containers, paper. We are recycling it. We are doing process on it, and we are recycling it and preparing the another useful things from it. So that is our recycling. Composting. In composting, what we are doing, the organic materials or the remaining food which can get decomposed, we are putting it inside inside the land at deep, right? And it will get decomposed, right? So that process is called composting. And as we know that it is biodegradable, so as it is buried inside the land, so it will get decomposed and can work as a manure. After that, there is incineration. In incineration, what we are doing, we are giving heat, we are burning the objects at very high temperature, so directly it will get converted into ash. And some households are the surgical waste from the hospital, it is managed by this type of process. After that, there is landfills. In landfills, what we are doing, in landfill, at the lower area we are having the waste and it is covered by the soil, right? So that is our concept of landfills. In sewage treatments, we will have STP, that is sewage treatment plant, right? And in this plant, from the sewage waste, the organic material, it will get settled down and it will get decomposed. The water which is there, so that will be pure, so it can be sent to the water body. So by that sewage treatment plants, we can utilize the sewage waste, right, and water is sent to the water bodies. Then this type of sewage waste, it can also use in production of biogas. So that will be the anaerobic respiration of such type of sewage waste. By that we can obtain biogas. So this way, by different methods, there are also some other methods, but right now we are going to discuss only about this methods. So by these methods, we can do a proper management of waste and we can get rid from its harmful effect. So in this chapter, we have understood that what is waste, which type of waste is produced, what is our trophic levels, what is food chain, what is food web. We have also understood the flow of energy, how it is unidirectional. Also we have taken the concept of what is ozone, why it is important to us, how depletion of ozone is done, right? And at last we understood the methods of waste disposal. In these 3 videos of our chapter number 15, we have understood the importance of our environment, what is our duty. Now we can think that what is our duty to save our environment for us also and for the next generation. So hope you have understood the chapter. Everything is provided to you in form of worksheet, so you will write it properly and you will send it on time.